Get caught up by some foods that we think are healthy, but in reality, they're really not so great. Tanya O'Rourke chatting with an expert at Consumer Reports about those unhealthy, healthy foods.
A donut or a muffin, fruit juice or water. You may be surprised to know some of the foods that you might think fall in that healthy category should really be moved over to the unhealthy one. This is Consumer Reports Deputy Health Editor Gail Williams. Thanks so much for being with us, Gail. What are we talking about here? Are you going to upside down our entire thinking?
I think we need to think a little bit differently. Sometimes we have foods that have a sort of health halo over them. We think they're all healthy and all hail the healthy food, but they're not necessarily healthy.
All right, so give me an example or two.
Okay, one example is a bran muffin, for instance. We think that bran muffins, bran, fiber, that must be a good thing. Well, typically muffins, especially commercially prepared ones, tend to be really big, which means they're probably more than one serving. And muffins in general, and bran muffins, tend to have a lot of fat, sugar, and not so much of the bran that we really need. And if you slather butter on top of that, or put some butter in between, now you're looking at the equivalent of a frosted cupcake. That's not what you had in mind when you picked the bran muffin. You thought you were getting something healthy.
Yeah,
rather, you should probably have a bowl of bran with some skim milk, or some other kind of high fiber cereal would be a better choice than a big bran muffin.
I'm going to guess baked goods in general, my favorite category of food, not on the good list for sure.
Baked foods can be good if they're made, not with a lot of fat, high fiber. There are other alternatives that could be made. Something with whole grain is a good idea to have, but you do want to stay away from the high fat, the high sugar, the high calorie. Something like, say, frozen yogurt. We tend to think that's really good for us because it has the word yogurt in it, which people equate with health. But really, a lot of frozen yogurt has a lot of sugar in it, and a lot of them have a lot of fat, which would make it sort of similar to ice cream.
Yeah,
so rather than having... Right, we may as well have ice cream, but if you're trying to have something that's better for you, you might want to look for a frozen yogurt that says it has live and active cultures on it. That would make it a better health choice for you.
One of the things that is so big in my house are vitamin waters, smart waters, that type of thing. Flavored water category, are they good for us? Are they not so good for us?
It's great that we're all trying to drink more water. Everybody's sort of heeding the advice that we need to hydrate more. Flavored water is not a bad idea either. The problem with some of these vitamin-enhanced waters, smart waters, those kinds of things, are that they include often sugar and sometimes caffeine, which is not what you're looking for when you want to hydrate. You're looking for water. So instead of buying some of the commercial waters, maybe what you want to get is some water, put a splash of lime or lemon in it to give it a little flavor if that's what you're seeking. Then you don't have any sugar, you don't have any caffeine, you just have water with a little flavor to it, which is what you're looking for anyway.
That's true. Okay, now it is lunchtime around here, so are there any lunch items that we think generally are healthy that maybe are not so much?
Sometimes we look at the wrap sandwiches and say, well, that's better than having a big, sub sandwich. And the wraps can be good. It depends on what you're putting inside the wrap, but oftentimes they're huge, and they're often 2 servings, yet we have no problem polishing off one, in one sitting. Right. Also, you want to make sure that the wrap, the tortilla that you use to wrap the sandwich, isn't a white flour tortilla. Better off that you would choose something that's more whole grains, or whole wheat. That would be a better choice than the white tortilla that you use to wrap the sandwich.
All right, now one last.
All right, Tanya, thanks. Something to remember there. We will be right